Cathy from inkingitupwithcathy.com, and today I'm going to show you this cool kind of unique two-tone card that I made. And so let's get started. I'm using the Everything Amazing stamp set, and we'll be using the Amazing and then the Wishing You N and then the Birthday. You'll be using a Stamparatus, and you'll be using the stitched rectangles. And let me grab one more rectangle that you're going to need, and I'll be right back. Okay, what you're going to need is this second largest stitched rectangle and then the fourth largest. So not this outside one and then not this one. So number 2 and number 4 if you're counting from the outside in. And those are the two you're going to need. The first thing I'm going to have you do is I'm going to take and cut the insides. And so I need a piece of Coastal Cabana. And this one actually measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm going to cut that out using this one. And with these stitched rectangles, they do resist this if you run them through this way with that wide straight piece. So if you feed them into your die cutter at a bit of an angle like this, it actually will work better and you won't hear that crazy popping. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I've got this one cut, and now I need to cut a small one of the Coastal Cabana as well, and then I need to also cut a small one of the Bermuda Bay. But what I'm going to do is actually cut the large one, and I'm going to use a little bit of washi tape to hold this down. And then I'm going to take the smaller one and put that inside. And I'm going to use this larger piece as a guide in my Stamparatus, which you'll see in just a minute, and it'll make sense. So I'm going to go ahead and run this one through, and then also run through one in the Coastal Cabana, this smaller size. And I'll be right back again. Okay, so as you can see, we have a small one cut out of the smaller die in the Coastal Cabana, and then we've got this is actually scrap. We've got a larger one cut out of the Coastal Cabana, and then we have the small one out of the Bermuda, and then this framed one out of the Bermuda as well. Now it could be either one, whichever you have more paper, but this is going to be your template for in your Stamparatus. So I'm going to set these to the side, and what we're wanting to do is make sure that the words are going to be in the same location on all three. And that's why we're doing this template. So we're going to take the one large one, and let me get a magnet here. And we're going to hold that in place like this. And let me take this off. So I've got my 3 stamps, and I want this centered in here. So I'll line it up. And instead of taking the time to do things several passes, I'm going to go ahead and also take a strip of Coastal Cabana and set it over here, and one of the Bermuda Bay over here. And I'm going to place this one out here like this, and place this one out here like this. And then I can do stamping on all three of these all at the same time. So I'm going to pick that up. And I'm going to ink that up with Versamark. Oh, before I do that, I have to use my embossing buddy. So we'll use the embossing buddy. That would not be good. We'd have a mess. Okay, now we can ink up Birthday, Amazing, and Wishing You. And we'll ink those up and press them. And I'm going to do a little bit more on this Amazing because I don't see that real well. I think these, yep, those are okay. Let's make sure we get a good impression on the Amazing. Yep, we did. Okay, so let's go ahead and get out our embossing powder and emboss these. I've got some white embossing powder. I haven't tried out the new shimmer white, which I think would be kind of cool for this as well. So let's take this. And since these are tiny, we'll just actually go into there. Knock that off as well. And then for our Amazing, let's see if we can do it this way. Keep it in. There we go. Oh, and as you can see down here, we didn't do a very good job up with the embossing buddy. And on this one, it's not as big of a problem as the next step. So we'll just kind of clean that up for this outside edge because that's what I'm worried about more on this piece. Okay, so let's set that to the side and go ahead and heat emboss these three. Okay, so those are ready. Now you're probably wondering why I have such big strips here for this. It's because you actually end up with the components for 2 cards with this. All you have to do is do a second one of this background. So what we're going to do is, so we're going to take this piece here as our template for placing the smaller ones in at the right place. Okay, just like that. And then we're going to want another birthday. Now remember, this was this way, so we're going to turn it around this way, and then we can get a second one. And this one was out like this, so we're going to turn it around this way. And again, we'll ink these up. Just like that. And we'll emboss those. And then I'm going to take this one again and put this in here. And this time all I need is the Amazing. And do that again and have it here. So now we'll heat emboss these, and I'll go ahead and do that off camera. Okay, so what I've got now is I've got a card out of Bermuda Bay. I've got the large rectangle stitched piece out of Coastal Cabana. I've got two of these out of, one out of Coastal Cabana, one out of Bermuda Bay, and then the words each embossed twice. So we'll go ahead and cut these out. Now you're actually going to be trimming with scissors, but I found this made it easier for me as a guide to keep my cutting straight. To do this, and you can actually punch real close to the bottom of it, because you're going to trim off right close to those words. So if you do that, it'll just be easier. You'll only be trimming the top because you want it to fit in between these lines. So again, I'm going to do right below the wishing you and on both of these. And I'm trimming off this a little bit, so I'm not worried about that little bit of embossing powder being there. So those are actually going to be trimmed with scissors. So I'll come right up next to the words. And like I said, it was easier for me to keep straight and not have it look wonky if I had first punched right up next to it. So these are going to be cut just like that. So this is kind of fun because you end up with two cards which are a little bit opposite of each other, and you'll see what I mean in just a minute. Okay, so we've got our 4. Let's get rid of all this mess. So this piece you do need to do a second one. So I've got this one here. So I've got 2 of those. I've got 2 card fronts. And I've got these. Now what I'm going to do with these is take the largest of the stitched rectangles. Okay, so what I want to do is get this cut line as close to each of these 2 corners as I possibly can. So I'm going to place it here like this and kind of ballpark it, and go ahead and put some washi tape down to hold it in place, and then check it from the back. And that actually looks good, and that looks pretty good as well. So I'm going to hold that down, and then this one's going to have to go in about like that, and we're going to go ahead and cut that. Okay, so that's cut just like that. Now this is the tricky thing, and let me tell you, I know because I did this wrong. The next time on this one I went this direction and they didn't match up. So we want to make sure that you're doing it again the same direction. So this one is going to go on here like this. And again, I'm going to kind of ballpark it and then hope that I'm close, and if not, I'll adjust it. So again, I'm going to use some washi tape and then take a look. And this one's a little bit off, so I'll just move it over a bit. Okay. And again, make sure this is on here. And I'll cut this one. Okay, so now we've got the 2 pieces like this, and we can start to assemble our card. So we want to take these and put some dimensionals on the back. And this might be a good time, especially in these points, for using some of these outside edges of your dimensionals. So I'm going to cut a few of those. And these work well for getting up into the corners. And then we'll use some regular dimensionals here. Okay, we'll take this one and they will be the opposite. We'll go there. And this one will go right there. Okay, and then they can go down onto your card. Like that. And like that. Uh-oh, I've lost a word, a birthday word. I'm sure it'll turn up here, but we'll just go ahead and finish one. So then this will go here on wishing you. And this one will go here. And then you just need to decide whether you want to glue them down directly or whether you want to use dimensionals. And I'm going to go ahead and use the dimensionals because I like things to pop up. And so I'm going to go ahead and use the outside edge of them again. So wishing you an amazing birthday. So there's the first card, and I'll track down that birthday for the second. But isn't that cool? Getting 2 cards out of one project. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you again soon with another video. And check out my blog at inkingitupwithcathy.com for some other clever cards.